Good morning. So welcome to this week's Elevate Your Business. I'm going to talk about something really, really cool that I've seen a good few people talking about, but still not a lot. It's still fairly new. And as a business owner, there's certain things that we definitely want to embrace and we want to jump on the curve with, and there's other things that we want to let go and ignore, but this is one that you definitely want to jump on the curve with. So hi, I'm Joanne O'Halloran. I'm a business mentor and sales expert for coaches and holistic therapists who want to sign their first 3 to 5 clients and beyond so that they can see their business take off. I had something really cool happen this week. Something really, really cool. I got this like flash of inspiration that I could see from trends that were happening through comments on social media, DMs that I was in, responses to emails, that there was a lot of self-doubt as it was coming towards the end of January and people hadn't made sales. And I was like, do you know what? I feel called to send out an email just to say that, look, it's okay that you feel self-doubt. This isn't abnormal. What you feel is normal. And here's where I felt it before. And here's what I've done. But I'd sent like a couple of these emails before and I was like, do you know what? I wonder, is there another way that I could frame it or say it so that it would resonate with people? And I've been playing around with ChatGPT for the last, I don't know, a couple of months. And I've like just been playing with it, testing it, seeing what it can do, seeing what comes out of it, what I could put into it. When I put stuff into it, like, does it sound like me? Does it not sound like me? All those fun things. So for those of you that don't know what ChatGPT is, it's artificial intelligence. And I know when a lot of people hear that, they're like, oh my God, absolutely not even touching that. And let me share with you, when it comes to stuff that's artificial and robotic, there's certain things that I'm just a no for. I don't want them in my house. Robert, who's my other half, would be the complete opposite. If he could have the entire house robotic, he would. So there's a happy medium with things, and you've got to decide whether or not you want to go down this route. However, like I said at the start, there's certain things that you want to embrace in your business to make things easier for you. This is definitely one of them. So like I said, it's an artificial intelligence, and essentially it's writing your copy. That's what it's doing. You put a prompt into it, so you can ask it a question, you can ask it to create something, you can physically give it information, and what it spits back out is the answer to your question, whatever that may look like. And of course, some of the stuff you get is incredibly generic, which is great because you can put your own spin in it. But if you play with it enough and you learn to ask very specific questions, it will give you incredible information, down even to how do I, like, if there's different buyer styles. So you guys would have heard me talk about this before. And when you're selling, you've got to appeal to all the different buyer styles. And you'll do that through the tone of your voice, the words that you use, the pace in which you say things, whether you're animated or whether you sit really still and change like the tone to be quiet, and even the wording that's in your emails and the speed and the volume of your emails. So all of that comes together in a sales psychology to give and presents to the different buyer types. However, you can also use the likes of ChatGPT to curate like the body of your emails or the body of your text or the body of your content to speak to somebody that's a red personality, to speak to somebody that's a green personality, to speak to somebody that's a hell yeah, I want to buy now, so you can use it for all of that. This week, like I said, I could see that there's a huge amount of self-doubt, and I know that like I experienced it as well, not this year but last year and the year before, because I changed last year into group programming. And I remember when I went to launch it, all my old like fears came in, every single solitary one of them. What if it doesn't work? What if nobody buys? What if people start questioning why I've gone from one-to-one to group? What if? I've learned to be able to manage my mind. So when that happens, I can feel it and I can release it. However, when you're new to business, or if you haven't had, say, a good run of it yet, and you haven't been able to see and experience what consistency in your business looks like, that self-doubt can come in and just take over. So I was like, right, I can see that this is something that people need, and I want to be able to share that. But like I said, I wanted to see if I could come at it from a different approach, and see if I could hit more people with it. So I went to ChatGPT, and I'll tell you exactly what I put into ChatGPT, just so that there's no illusion. Literally what I said was, email copy and headline for when self-doubt kicks in and about your goal coming together. That was all I gave it, right? And I already had it in my mind about the story that I wanted to add to it. So my personal story, already knew what that was. And I was going to fit it in around the body of the content. So anyway, out pops the email. If you're on my email list, you will have seen this email. So it's, and I want to preface this by saying, anytime you get information like this, right? So like anything from ChatGPT, or even be the same with, if you're using swipe files, it has to sound like you. So you're never going to use exactly what they've given you. It has to sound like you. So out pops the body of the content, and I read through it a couple of times and I was like, do you know what? That's great. Again, fairly generic, because it was a generic question that I put in. So I was able to use the words that I would use. So for example, one of the things that it said was, I know that reaching your goals can be a very challenging process. I don't tend to use the words goals. I tend to use the word vision rather than goals, or sometimes I will use both. So I was able to change it for that, so that it was my wording being used rather than just this because it was convenient. So what I did was I changed the words in it to fit my words, right? So that it sounded like me. The content structure, all of that was still the same. And I put my story in there of when I felt like this, how it showed up for me. Literally, I described the scene of what I was doing. And if you did see the email, you know that I was talking about the very first time I ever created virtual events. That's my business model now. I create virtual events as if they were, go to the shop to pick up a packet of buttons. They don't faze me at all now, but they did. That was one of the scariest things that I ever did in my business. And the doubt that came in when I was doing it, oh my goodness, it felt like I've never felt so lonely. I've never felt so isolated. I've never felt so insecure about whether or not I could or couldn't do something. And all the doubts kicked in, all of them. Like, what if nobody responds? What do I do when they respond? Oh my God, what am I going to say? Am I going to go bright red when I'm on with them? Am I going to stutter? I don't really have anything to offer. What happens if they ask me a question and I don't know how to respond? That's just like the tip of the iceberg of some of the things that were going through my mind the first time I was ever doing a virtual event. So I shared that, and I also set the scene of what me sending out my first bunch of emails to people looked like. So I literally was sitting on the floor in my sitting room, laptop in front of me, propped up on cushions, and I had Christmas movies on behind, but I also had a friend of mine on FaceTime. And I asked her, would she sit there while I was sending out the emails? I didn't need her to say anything, but I needed to be accountable to get it done because I was feeling so scared, like so scared. And I could either spend the time worrying about how scared I was, or I could just get it done and get it over with. So that was what I did. I got it done, and I did what I had to get it done. And this is what a lot of people won't do. They won't actually do the hard stuff so they can make their lives easier. And I will always say, success happens when you let it, but you've got to get over those hurdles. There is no other fix for those hurdles. The two of them have got to go together. You've got to manage your mind, look after your mindset, and embed your mindset, do all your daily rituals, and take the action at the same time. You don't do one and then do the other later on. They go together. But anyway, I put that story in. And I sent the email, and I didn't think anything of it. Obviously, it wasn't a sales email. So I will check my stats kind of at the end of the week to have a look and see what landed, what didn't. I will check my open rates, check my click-through rates, all those fun things so that I can assess what's working and what's not working. Anyway, within 15 minutes of that email going out, and note it was an off-the-cuff email, so it wasn't in my planned normal email marketing. So it was an off-the-cuff email based on something that I've seen. And this is something that you get to sit with and think about and go, what am I seeing happen right now, and how can I share that with my audience? Like, how can I powerfully impact somebody's life so that they can feel better, so that they can make a change in whatever it is that you do for them? How can I do that? What am I seeing right now and what am I ignoring, rather than actually going, what am I seeing right now and how can I share it? Because that's all I did. It's literally all I did. So within 15 minutes of that email going out, I got an email back from this lady saying, oh my goodness, I felt like you were speaking to my soul. Thank you so much for sending that. I thought I was on my own. Could we have a call really soon? I was like, absolutely. I love when people reach out to me like that. And it's so nice to know that it's hitting home with people. And I always say, if you're making a difference in one person's life, that's powerful. That's powerful. And this is why it's really important to only speak to one person rather than to speak to the masses. So funny enough, this lady had been on me. So we had a call, and this lady had been on my email list for, I'd say, a good 2 years. And fun fact, she had no idea who I was. She didn't even know anything about me. She didn't know anything about what I did. Isn't that really interesting, right? So we get caught up and we think that as soon as somebody is a follower, as soon as somebody is, opts into our email, that they automatically know who they are and they're going to buy from us. No, that's arrogance that drives that, and your ego. Never assume that somebody knows who you are. Never assume that somebody is coming to you for a sale. Never assume that somebody knows everything that you do. That's the worst thing that you can do, right? So we got on the call. Like I said, she didn't know who I was. She had no idea what I did. So we had a chat around that. Turns out that she runs huge events nationally here in Ireland. And my email hit home with her so much. We had the most gorgeous conversation, like really, really gorgeous conversation on the phone, or on Zoom, should I say. And I was able to support her at a couple of different things. It was such a gorgeous conversation that she invited me to speak at a national event, of which there's 4,000 people that attend. One email did that. And like I said, she had no idea who I was. She had no idea what I did, and she didn't care. That one email spoke to her so profoundly that she wanted me to share that exact message with 4,000 other people. So what's the moral of the story? Lots of morals. You never know when people are listening. You never know when something's working and when something's not working. You never know what opportunity is going to come for you. You never know when things are moving to work in alignment with you. I have booked numerous speaking gigs already this year. I've done 2 already, and we're only on the 26th of January. Never mind the ones that I'm doing myself. But there's a plethora of other that have come in. Why? Because I keep showing up. What's the point of this with the ChatGPT? You can use this to leverage what it is that you do. Way too many people use IT and content and copy as an excuse to not see their business move forward. And an excuse is only what we tell ourselves. And we can 100% be right about that. We can absolutely be right. Or we can go, do you know what? My way of doing it and my way of thinking isn't actually working for me. It's not generating the results that I want. So what will? And if ChatGPT is something that you haven't explored yet, I highly encourage you to do it. There's no affiliates, by the way. I'm not affiliated with them. I just have loved it. And when something makes that much of a difference for me in my life and for me in my business, I absolutely want to share it with you. Why wouldn't I? We're all about connection, collaboration, and generosity. That's what being in business is about. And that's what leading other people is all about. ChatGPT is something that you definitely get to explore and see if it's something that would benefit your business. But I'm like, in terms of, I've even taken client sessions. So we do them on Zoom, we record them, and then obviously it spits out the transcript as well. I was going to say transport, spits out the transcript. Let's say that again. Spits out the transcript as well as the audio and the video. But I've taken that transcript and I've put it into ChatGPT and asked it to pull out the 3 benefits or the 3 main points. And it's powerful to see what it pulls out so that I can summarize it for my client. I've also taken the script from masterclasses that I've done and put it in there and say, can you please take out the three most powerful points? And sometimes I might say, like, the 3 main points about sales, or the 3 main points about fears, the 3 main points about building your business. And I could do that, and I could do all 3 of them on the one transcript that I put in, and it will pull them out. It absolutely pulls them out. So if you're not using it, ask yourself why. And if it's because you're afraid of it, ask yourself what you're really afraid of. You can't break it, right? You can't break it. This whole thing of like what used to be years ago of like, you push a button and everything falls apart. It's not like that anymore. You can't break it. And it's definitely one that I can see being utilized more and more and more and more and more when it can create that stuff as powerfully as it does. And it can also say to you, if it's not fully sure that it's giving you the correct information, it tells you that. If it thinks that, you can add something else to it, it will tell you that. It's great to see that the way that it works. Is it scary to think that, it it can share that information and be exactly what people think. Yes, but we are creatures of habit, so we're not that hard to read. Like if you stop and see what's going on in the world, you can predict and see exactly what's going to happen. Whether it's like, you know, if something happens in the media, you can already see what's going to happen down the line. You can see the thread of what's going to happen. You can see the conversations that are going to happen. You can see who's going to share what with who and in what manner they're going to share it. So there is a level of prediction that's there already. If you just stop for a minute and sit back and watch and pay attention and listen, it's incredible to see how you can do it. So could you see it as scary? Yes. Or could you see it as a powerful opportunity to be able to create waves in your business? Hell yeah. So I'm going to leave it there, but just know that something that simple, one message, can create epic results. Talk to you soon.